Okay, so I've reminded myself of something, something very important, a very common mistake that I used to make a lot, and I don't so much anymore, but I did. I mean, so the lesson is that when you're shooting, and you have a composition in mind, it's okay to try other compositions. But I saw this little line in the rock here, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to get it." So every single shot, look at this, is exactly the same. Every single composition is exactly the same. How many do you need? So I just cracked myself up with that. I wanted to share. I don't even know if this is going to work. I have an idea. Um, I have an idea. The reason I have so many is because I want to. There's like 100 of them. I wanted to try a focus stacking technique where we shoot um, different parts of an image in focus. So in this particular one, the background here is in focus, and then when we just go over to here, the foreground is in focus, and then put them together and see if we can get an entire image in focus. Um, and so I was just perseverating on that, I guess, and I didn't even get out of it. And I'm sure there were tons of other beautiful compositions out there tonight. But for me, this is the one I have to work with. So, lesson learned, and I thought I'd share. Okay, so while we're at it, I thought I'd show you this focus stacking technique and how it's done, at least the quick version. So here are the two images in Lightroom. We have this image that has the sky and the water and the beach in focus, and then we have this image that has the rock in the foreground in focus. So to do a focus stack, we export these as a TIFF file. And so I've already done that. And then once we export those as a TIFF file, we open up our Photoshop, and we open them up in Photoshop, and we create two layers. So we have one photo, two photos. So they're both in Photoshop as different layers, and then we have them both selected, and we can go up here to the edit function and auto align our layers. And so what that's going to do is tell Photoshop to line them up. And like I didn't do a great job on this because I shot this without a tripod. Typically, when we're doing focus stacking, we shoot with a tripod so that both images are exactly lined up or darn close to it. I got lucky here and was able to kind of prop the camera on my leg and keep it steady enough, but you can see the difference here in just how much the camera moved in such a short amount of time. So use a tripod. But we got lucky and this is going to work. So Photoshop auto aligns these. And then once they're auto aligned, we go in and auto blend. And this is super cool because it's going to tell Photoshop to go in there and take the in focus parts of each image, blend them together, and create one image. So you can see here, it took from layer one, it took the the background, the sky and the water, and then from the other layer, it took the in focus rock and created one merged layer where the whole thing is in focus. Pretty cool. Once that happens, we don't need those layers anymore, so we can go in there and delete those ones and yes, delete and just work with our one saved one. And then all we need to do is export this one or do a save a copy. We save a copy as a TIFF. We've already done it, so we'll do it again. And once that's saved, then we can simply open it up again in Lightroom, which I've already done here, and do our final edits on it. And the final image might look something like this. I'm still working on it, but this is an approximation of what it'll look like. It's probably pretty close to done. I've gone through and added some masking layers, which okay, so we added a radial mask here just to kind of bring out the exposure and the texture of that rock. And then in the sky up here, we brought down the highlights a little bit just so we can see that really cool orange and the contrast between the orange and the regular sky, and then brightened up the beach and water area a little bit. And then we can get into more of these details later, but added a little bit of a curve and did some midtone and highlight work. But anyway, this is probably pretty close to what the final image would look like. So we got lucky focusing on just one composition, doing an impromptu focus stack, and then creating a pretty neat little final image.